Hey, how's it going? Today is 25th of January, Thursday, and we are taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities are available up there. In this video, let's take a look at Bank of England and HM Treasury respond to digital pound consultation. Let's try to understand what's happening. Something that was published today. Let's take a look at this article. The Bank of England, or the bank, I guess, the HM Treasury have today published their response to the consultation on the digital pound that was launched in February 2023. So the consultation have taken place, and they potentially responded. A lot of governments in the world already paper money, making all the time looking into phase out, right? So some of those governments more actively than others, right? So if anything, what UK is going to do. Let's take a look at some of the bullet points and what we're going to be covering within this article. That with the Bank of England HM Treasury update on the proposal for a digital pound, which will include primary legislation to guarantee users' privacy and control. Okay. Next bullet point, that the response confirmed that neither the bank nor the government will have access to users' personal data. This is what they're saying. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Perhaps the way how things would start, maybe. If over time, I think if they would have reason to have access, they would have access. Sometimes they're just looking for reasons to have access. So the reason can be anything. Cough, and they won't have access to it, if that makes sense. Let's look at authorities committed to maintaining access to cash for those who prefer it. Okay, they're good to have a number of options. I always opt for having options. So it's just using cards, right? So not necessarily be very different compared to what is being done as of now. Perhaps some of the more of the different projects that we're having, everything and all the assets reflected in digital currency. So there's a lot of different projects, right? So I think that's perhaps what they're referring to. Instead of having those, perhaps having options, right? So in case system might go down or something, it always has to have some. Some would recommend 6 months of savings, even if that would be perhaps in paper, not necessarily just in the digital, right? And we continue to work on digital currency will strengthen the UK's position as a competitive global leader in finance. The Bank of England, the bank or HM Treasury, have today, 25th of January, published their response to the consultation of the digital pound that was launched in February 2023. No financial decisions have been made on the pursuit of digital pound, also called the central bank digital currency. Perhaps some of the governments are taking a lot of measures as of now how they're gonna do that. And from my understanding, the potentially government will have more control instead of having less. The government most likely will have more control, and that would be just an example of some of those economies in the world, including places like a social scoring system, and then I would pay the person within payment terms can guide where that money could be spent even to that distance, right? Compared to not necessarily what you would be able to do as of now with cash, right? So then you would pay me with the cash, I can spend cash on anything, for example, right? If I would pay you with digital currency, that digital currency perhaps within a contract, or me giving you digital currency, I would ask you to spend that digital currency on particular things, let's say water and sandwiches, and that's the only thing that you myself find spending that money on. So that's a difference, not necessarily what we outlined within this article, right? Work will continue during the design phase, exploring visibility and or potential design choices. This will look at how digital pound could be used in the UK's economy, providing greater choices, convenience, and innovation for households and business, making the accepting everyday payments as part of the broader work on payment innovation. The work will also help strengthen the UK's position and competitive global leader in finance. I don't think they sometimes they would say speed. I don't think payment speed is an issue, to say the least, right? So myself, I'm interested in how they're gonna package it, right? They can package it. They're gonna give more speed for payment. It's instant payment. already. So the speed is definitely not an issue. Let's forget. The feedback from response from the range of industries and organizations was largely supported in the, I don't know about that, but let's forget, of the proposed design set out in 2003. Depending on what industries they were taking a look at. People who understand what they're talking about, or people who are in interest of them to do that, right? Consultation paper, while other responses raise concerns about the implementation of digital pound and access to cash users, privacy and control of their money. Here you go. That's massive concerns. Don't know about others, but that's massive concerns. Let's take a look. Let's highlight what concerns are massive compared to perhaps something that's currently been done and what's going to happen, right? Perhaps it's just a matter of time. For access to cash, users' privacy, and control of their money. So you're gonna lose all the control. Can you have more of the concern? To address these concerns today, publications confirm that in the digital pound were to be implemented, primary legislations will be introduced, and or this will guarantee users' privacy and control. The bank and the I don't know about that, right? So they would say guarantee users' privacy control. I don't know. Let's take a look at history, and sometimes the person would need to leave its country after some of those guarantees. So that would be Snowden, right? And it was made publicly about how much of the privacy was not necessarily been done, but how many people were tracked and information was gathered without people knowing, and perhaps some of those governments, something that was done, they have a person couldn't stay within America, right? So that would be Snowden. So based on history, we are right now highlighting and outlining guarantee users' privacy and control. Interesting. How they're gonna guarantee that? I'm very keen on understanding a little bit more about this process. The bank of the government will not have access to any personal data, and the user will have freedom in how they spend their digital pounds. Okay. There will also be further public consultations on the digital pound prior to the introduction of the primary legislation. These commitments will have both parliamentary and the public further opportunities to have their say. So things are taking action, right? I already made a statement, right? Based on the history, data, facts of history, it contradicts everything what has been outlined, right? In addition to this publication reiterated the commitment of both the government and the bank to protect access to cash, even if the digital pound were introduced. Okay, so banks, right? So I would say banks. Let's take a look at what will digital pound look like. A digital pound will complement the role of cash in digital world and give people more choice in how they will make everyday payments. Not necessarily more, I would say less. So that's a little bit of 1984 book. What was it? For people who understand it, right? We're referring back to some of the choices and perhaps the reduction of some of the freedoms, right? Let's progress. £10 of the digital pound will always be worth the same as £10 in banknotes or coins. Okay, it doesn't really mean anything. It means nothing. Let's progress. It will be issued by the Bank of England. Okay, so they would be central control, or so it will be instead of be deregulated, it would be regulated, right? Okay, while available and convenient to use. So that would be central government who gonna regulate everything, where there's some projects who that would be potentially deregulated. So we're giving more freedom to the people instead of central control, right? It will be easily exchangeable with other forms of money, including cash and bank deposits. Okay, that's if you trust technology, right? If it's something that you do trust, it's easily exchangeable, right? But I would highly recommend perhaps having savings, right, and perhaps in cash as well. It will be accessed throughout digital wallets offered to public and or business by private and sectors throughout the smartphones or smart cards, right? So there might be, I have read 3 or 4 books on this kind of subject, so I perhaps I do understand a little bit, right, from what books that I have read. But again, I haven't developed any of those projects. Perhaps all the projects might offer different processes, right? Something that's haven't been highlighted would be perhaps cold wallets, right? Not necessarily hot wallets, where all your savings, all your life savings can be wiped overnight without you even knowing it. And that would be a breach of many things, right? Since that what's been highlighted is access to smartphones and smart cards. Well, smart cards, that's something would be called, to be considered cold, I guess. Whereas it will be intended for payments made online in store and or between individuals rather than the savings and will not pay interest. Okay. Okay, let's progress. There will be restrictions at last initially how much individual or business could hold. So there's will be restrictions. Okay, I like restrictions already. I was thinking about the real thing, right? So we are on the topic of something that's not real. Real. So what would be land, right? I was thinking a lot about the land. So there would be a limited supply of. If that makes sense. So land is something you can hold, and there's a limited supply of. So if someone would give me land, I can see a lot of value in land compared to some numbers on the screen. There's no the real value in there. If that makes sense, right? So even if we're taking a look at gold, not necessarily that's the best way of set standard. What about land? Give me some land in a good location. I would see a value over hundreds and hundreds of years compared to some numbers on the screen. That doesn't really mean anything. That's progress, and it's been restrictions already placed on those numbers on the screen. Like banknotes, it will be a claim on the Bank of England having strict value of the stable, unlike unbacked crypto assets. So it's unbacked. So what about backed by land? Oh, that's even better. I like this idea. If it would be backed by something, right, that would be land, not even gold. I don't care that much about gold when I think about it. But since the new reserves of gold can be found, or new mines, right, how much of the more of the land you can find within even England or UK, how much more land can you find? Let's back some of those cryptocurrencies. Bank of England buy land in England. Here you go. That's limited supply, and it's not necessarily would be increased or reduced, right? Very easily. But that's just an example. Yourself, if you're interested in learning more, I have published a book how to build project fit flow. In the book, I'm taking a look at body, and I'm sure a lot of information for many people that they would need to know about the body, and then tackling some of the areas when it comes to working out that would be potentially where to progress. So beginner friendly, as well as I'm taking it all the way to professional level and how you can potentially begin generating money from doing something that you would like within the book. At least that's my idea of publishing this work. It's something I have done professionally. I'm looking to share that with others. Within the book, I'm taking a look at 3 areas: that will be recovery, nutrition, and working out, and how yourself you can develop that and or develop your understanding, knowledge when it comes to fitness and optimizing and making most of your time in the gym, making sure that you would succeed without injuring yourself, right? So not necessarily overstretching, or if you're doing that, how to do slowly over time, improving yourself, right? You can find it QR code in the corner company's website below. Either way, it doesn't really matter how people feel about things, right? So things would happen either way. So it's just something that I would say be while I'm taking a look at some of the articles, right? And even right now, we're taking a look at Financial Conduct Authority, and most of the information has been shared or held within US-based companies, and how are they storing that information? Who knows, right? It's something myself I'm working on as of now, right? It's something I have highlighted yesterday. I'm looking to address that, and from there, I was myself I'll be looking to build some projects, and if anything, sell some numbers on the screen. It's all it is, numbers on the screen. That doesn't really mean anything, I would say, if it's not backed by anything other than the trust. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one.